speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun! You fucking moron!
Stuff like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron! Hey, moron!
But at least it gets you talking, though. Gets you talking.
We could also use that £50 for a carry out for the Oliveira fight, Daniel. Just be a bit selfish, and then just buy loads of drink with it.
4/5 of the UFC chat are here.
That's the night there was one, to be honest.
We don't condone drinking alcohol on this recording.
What?
Have you ever done this sober?
I think the question is, has he actually ever been sober? Not if he's done this sober.
I don't know. As I was sitting here with my two 5 pint cans of Tennent's and my litre bottle of Ricardo, it'll get me through this stream with you guys.
I'm not even looking right at my phone, right? But I know that we've started recording because Kyle's voice changes.
What do you mean?
You put on like a voice.
The voice.
I can tell. I don't even need to look at my phone. I just know. Weird.
It's because I'm a professional.
Professional wanker.
And we've started off this episode with this week's podcast name, but welcome in. Thank you for listening to another week of Morons Reviewing Movies. We do appreciate you that are listening, as much as you guys don't appreciate me. Maybe I won't even air this episode then just to fuck yous over. But we are in this week to talk about our comedy week. So we have got Ted and The Hangover. Who can remember what we watched last time round?
Oh fuck! Now you're asking.
I don't know.
John Wicks.
Yeah, John.
He sells paint.
Is that John Wick's less successful brother?
Handyman come assassin.
I was so confident as soon as I said it, I was like, that's not right.
Which is funny because in the group chat, Bonzi, you kept calling Mad Max Mad instead.
I know. At least, even though I say everything wrong, at least I give you a wee into to what the correct words are. So you'd be lost with me.
We would be lost without you, Bonzi. But we did watch Max Mad and John Wicks last week. Can anyone remember what we scored them at? We got a little bit of a backlash on one of them from a few of the morons.
Yes.
Max Mad was quite low.
I was going to say David Copperfield was back commenting again.
Oh, David, thanks for your comments. Be magician there,
Do you want some of the feedback?
Oh, go for it. Let's shoot straight in with feedback.
Kyle and Daniel know what they're talking about. Lol. This movie is amazing.
We knew that. We're the only ones.
I don't see that comment anyway. I think you've just made that up.
Good shout out here for Why the Book Wins, which is another. She does like books versus movies, and she mentioned us on one of her YouTube episodes. So there's a wee mention back for you. Why the Book Wins.
What did she say? These guys are fucking hopeless.
I don't think so. I can't remember. I went and watched it anyway. So David Copperfield's comment, ha ha ha, with a space in between each one, so a little gap. Just need to move on. Everyone's got a tiny particle of Hitler in their lungs. Some people don't get Fury Road. And then he said, you guys should watch some art house shit that would expect low scores from that may end up bringing back surprising reactions. And he suggested that we watch Mulholland Drive. And we also got other such comments like, this is disgusting, was probably the angriest one we got. So there you go.
Even you mentioned about Hitler, I'm sure it was Keldo the one that said he wanted Hitler to come to a dinner party with him or something. So he's definitely got some Hitler in his lungs anyway. So
listen, I'd take a drink with Hitler.
You'd have a drink with MD though. Instead of just being drinking yourself in the house doing a podcast.
The key point being you would have to drink, the guest is optional.
Me and Hitler could share a couple of cans of Tennent's.
It's my favourite episode, that one. the Hitler episode.
If you're going to drink your tennis, make sure it's fresh out of the cupboard, nice and room temp. Lovely, lovely little tipple.
Aye, that's
I
my
love-
favourite question, that episode about who you would want to go on a night out with. That was really funny.
I love that we've actually got a Hitler episode. I can say, remember the Hitler episode? I love that that's the thing.
Well, we didn't get as many negative comments in the John Wick one. You can always tell when there's been a score that's a bit controversial, because looking at the John Wick one at the moment, we had 2 comments. Well, first one, great rating, and the other one, finally a reasonable score for a movie that deserves it.
I was speaking to one of our pals at the weekend, Dubs, and he was basically saying it's like he only listens to them if we give shit scores. If we give like decent scores to a movie, he just doesn't bother listening to the podcast. Because it's like, well, there's no point in hearing if you actually like a movie because it's going to be all good stuff. He just wants to hear us berating ones. So some people have got different views. They actually want us to be abusive towards films, whereas our folk just they get their knickers on a twist if they see and blow a 2.5 or whatever.
It is funny when you look at the scores, and obviously we do this based on our enjoyment, and we've got our own individual ways that we do it. But some folk get very, very irate.
I got a stern telling off on Saturday in the wee bar. I'm not going to name names of that, but he's 6'7", and he basically like proper like called me a fucking something because I rated Mad Max at a 1. He said it should be a 2 minimum, even if he didn't like it because of the cinematography. So he said, even though you didn't like it, you should have scored it a 2 because of the cinematography. That's why I can't take you seriously. Something along those lines.
Then that was also the man who's got, is it not got the movie that's the lowest in our full leaderboard? So I think his comments mean anything, to be honest.
Exactly. I'm not going to take anything that the man who gave us Zulu Dawn, I'm not taking anything he says seriously. But I was trying to explain to him that it's like it's a personal preference. Like movies are like people like different things. He wasn't having it. Kind of similar to the reaction that he gave when we scored Zulu Dawn, a 0.
What was his reaction when we scored Zulu Dawn a 0, Sean? Do you remember?
He left the chat.
Well, there would have been 6 morons sitting here and they said 5 if we scored it a little bit higher.
I was just going to say, that sums up some of the comments we get, like that little argument that we had a couple of weeks ago on Instagram. It's like, It's like, even if you don't like it, you have to, like, you must agree with me. Like, fucking, you like it, you don't like it. I loved it, you didn't like it. It's fine. Sound. Move on.
Like, I don't tell you, like, you need to score this lower because, like, it's just, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you like steak, I don't like steak. It's, people like what they like.
You turned around recently, so you had a good steak recently, did you not?
I've not had one since, to be fair. Because I know that it would just be disappointing, so I've not bothered.
Saving it for special occasions.
Yes.
Aye.
Just
March
have your
the
next
14th.
steak on March the 14th.
Yep. Steak and blowjob day.
I was gonna at least let him Google it.
Hunter knows that straight off the bat, not even any hesitation.
It's already penciled in his diary.
Can't even beat it. March the 13th. See steak and blowjob Eve.
What do you get? What do you get in steak and blowjob, Eve? What,
You just get a wee appetizer, so it's like a hand job and a burger, and you get the main course the next day.
Oh my god. What the fuck?
Not even started yet.
Listen, everyone benefits from it. The women get bangers and gash the month before, so they're sorted as well. But let's get talking about movies that we're here to actually talk about. Who'd like to kick us off with talking about Ted? I mean, everyone's seen Ted. I'm not even going to read the blurb. So, Hunter, you kick us off.
Right, I've got to say, like, kind of, when I was younger, I used to like Family Guy, and then I remember us coming out thinking it was hilarious. And again, I probably did watch it sort of 2, 3, 4, like a few times anyway after it came out. But you see now going back to it after so long, it definitely kind of doesn't hit sort of the hit as hard to maybe laugh wise as maybe what it once used to, and I don't know if that's just me turning into a born old bastard, or maybe it's just not as funny as it was 10 years ago. But again, it's still, I mean, it's, if you know a simple premise, it's just like an adult Pinocchio with a bear instead of a wee boy, essentially. And I mean, it's acting wise as Mark Wahlberg's just Mark Wahlberg. He was just they were good. He's just kind of that typical Boston guy. That's it. He's got to obviously be just himself. That's it. Now you've got Mila Kunis. Kudos to Kunis, I'll say that. And
It's a free straight away from off the bat just with the name on the list.
Yes. And again, it's just like a glorified extended episode of Family Guy. I think that's what it is. And I think we were talked about it. I was in the group chat not long ago about Family Guy and stuff like that. And I kind of like you now, Kyle. I find Family Guy a lot funnier out of context when it's clipped up and memed, to go with something rather than sitting down and watching a full episode. I can remember the last time I actually did that.
And that's where this movie is very similar, because I've seen plenty of little clips of this movie on Instagram and Facebook and all that kind of stuff, and they're funny in 15 to 20 seconds, but when you watch a whole film of it, it's just boring. It's not as funny as it thinks it is, and I struggle with that type of humour, just
Right.
very much like you've described.
I guess 10 years ago, there's been a very different score, a very different reaction, I think, from even the majority of us. But here we are, older and wiser, and it's definitely not striking the same chords it once did.
Fair play, fair play. Burnsy, am I going to go on a limb here and say that this was potentially the first time that you'd ever seen Ted?
Was I? Because when you made the comment saying I'd seen Ted, I was going to say, well, I haven't, but you didn't give me a chance.
I don't even include you in that conversation of everybody. You're just an outcast, an outsider. But
I'm just an
listen,
afterthought.
you're vastly coming up on 200 movies in the last 2 years, 2.5
I know.
years.
Probably watch more than most of our friends now.
That's it.
That for us, obviously. So I think my views are sort of similar to Hunter's. Like, I thought the beginning was, it worked better. The beginning of the film actually worked quite well because it was quite quickly set up, and it was short and concise. Like, although obviously you go maybe 25 years into the future when he first gets to Teddy, as there would have been no need to have that much filler. But my main take from the film is like, John's character is like Mark Wahlberg. It's like, were you supposed to like him or not? Because I thought he was a complete arsehole throughout the film. And I'm assuming obviously this is aimed at people. I don't. What age is this? Has this got a rating on the film, Kel?
It's an 18, I'm sure. I think this is a fucking 18.
Right. Okay. Well, what my comment was going to be, I thought it was maybe aged at a younger audience, but obviously it's not because it's an 18. But
I think it was a you.
No, well, I thought it would be like LV or something. I don't know. Like, it wasn't like there was swearing, but I didn't think, maybe obviously just because we are used to maybe hearing swearing, it didn't seem anything over the top. But I don't know. I just didn't think it was aimed at. I didn't expect to be said it was an 18 anyway.
It says here that it's R-rated, so is that not our 18?
Yeah, that's our.
There's literally a teddy bear
Oh, sorry.
shagging a lassie on food. And you think it's like a PG?
Well, I forgot about that scene actually.
Just to interrupt you now, Daniel. It says I've just googled what rating it says here. R-rated. Children under 17 going to see Ted must be accompanied by a parent or guardian.
So it is aimed at younger then.
No, that's the highest you can rate it in America, though.
Oh, okay, right. I just thought it was like, it just seemed like everything was nothing was ever his fault. It was always somebody else's fault. It was like blaming obviously the Teddy on blaming Ted for him skiving work, getting high, and then blaming him for when Mila is it Mila Kunis? I can't remember the name. Is that right? Mila Kunis splits up with him and all that kind of stuff. He just seemed like a total loser to me. And I don't think Matt Walker was that impressive in the film either. Like, he was quite boring, I thought. It didn't... I think throughout the film, obviously, I was going on with the comedy and thinking I was going to be howling with laughter. Like, there was bits that were funny, but like the Braun hotel room and stuff like that. But it was more you were sort of sniggering and laughing a wee bit instead of being howling, which is what I was hoping for going in. And the kidnapping part of Ted, that was quite well done, I thought, as well. Like, but I just didn't really hit the spot at all for me. I think I was expecting to enjoy this film a lot more because obviously I've had some categories where I've been in and thought, oh, this is going to be pish. And sometimes they have been and sometimes they've surprised me. Whereas I thought this week, obviously, I was going to probably really enjoy and give really high scores. I think it's, I don't feel a lot of comedies is, I think if I'd watched this before we'd watched all the other films that we have, I would probably give it a higher score as well and would enjoyed it more. But I think some of there's a lot better out there than this. And that's why it's not going to score massively high for me. But it was still decent enough and whatever else. It just wasn't anything special, I would say.
It's interesting you say about the kidnapping scene because I thought that was the most pointless part of the whole film. Like they could have took that whole part out for me. It would have made no difference to what was going on. As much as like they could have cheap humor at the two weirdos, the father and son duo. I just felt it didn't really need it. It didn't need it at all. Sean, what's your thoughts on it?
I think I'd only seen this one before. The once before when it first came out, and like from memory, like I didn't really rate it. And like I loved Family Guy. Not really seen that much of the new stuff, but like I used to watch it constantly when I was younger. But on I'll call this a rewatch, I actually really enjoyed it. It does at times feel like a live action Family Guy, just with like different characters. I don't know if you noticed, but Joe, the policeman, his voice actor's in it, or I'm positive it's his voice actor because it sounds a double. The guy
he's with more when he's a wee boy is the woman who voices Lois too.
Is it?
Aye.
Oh, I never noticed that. He's more when he's a wee boy. What bit was that in the film? Was that at the start?
Aye,
that was the start. Aye. If that was the opening scene. I actually never noticed that.
Did she stop being his mom after?
Well, you never see him in the film anymore.
So at times it did feel like a live action Family Guy. The humour's very similar. Even like the musical bits in between scenes, if you closed your eyes, it would feel like you're watching an episode of Family Guy. Like just the wee kind of piano light tune that you hear. But that doesn't bother me at all. Like it's obviously Seth MacFarlane that's written it and all that kind of stuff. He's obviously the voice of Ted, but I did actually find it quite funny. The kidnapping bit, I'm going to totally disagree with what Kyle said, and I actually enjoyed that bit with the boy who was the dad. You see him all the time and stuff, but actually I have no idea what his name is. I thought he was really good in it as well. Like the bit where he's standing watching the telly and he's dancing in front of it. It's like nothing spectacular that, but I was just pushing myself at that. Just it's totally stupid and like it adds nothing to like the actual storyline. He's just a fucking weirdo. But I'm trying to think back to even the bits that I find like particularly funny. Like when he's going for the job interviews and obviously he doesn't want to get the job and he's just saying ridiculous stuff, but he just keeps promoting them.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just wee stupid things. I don't know. I just feel myself just kind of chuckling away. But no, like I did actually quite enjoyed it.
I was just going to add as well is that the bit where Mark Wahlberg's character goes and starts singing on the stage and that was just boring. Like I know obviously our boss was just a total sleaze in the film, but as I say, because he's just coming across as like, oh, the world's against me, I've never done anything wrong, blah blah blah. I was just hoping she'd just tell him to go and fuck off, basically, instead of like running back into his arms at that point and then getting back together and whatever. That bit was just, I was just like, nah, this is a load of nonsense. I think I'm somewhat assured about the funny bits as well. It's like Sean says, there was nothing that was all massive laughter. It was more sort of sniggers and stuff like that as well. So,
Aye, like it's not like total belly laughing at bits and all that, but like I think it is a very kind of like it's a very particular sense of humour. Or sorry, like, you have to have a very particular sense of humour to like proper like belly laugh it on that. Like it is just a stupid film. I mean, fuck's sake, it's about a teddy that comes to life. So anything that comes as part of the story, whether it's a kidnapping bit or anything like that, you just need to take it for what it is. It's just light-hearted and daft. So I went quiet there a second because I got rudely interrupted through my train of thought. But what was I saying there? See, my mind's went
Don't worry,
blank.
everyone else is ignoring you, Sean, because they're checking the football scores. So don't worry.
I'm just looking at how
Nobody's
Dean
actually
Henderson's
listening.
just decided to just like stand in the middle of the goal and try and save a free kick, and it's got me a bet up as well, so that was pretty good.
All right.
Another man you go, it's a patient, so it's something different.
But like it's, I definitely enjoyed it watching it again. I don't know if I would go and watch Ted 2. I don't actually think I've ever seen Ted 2. Actually, no.
One?
Aye, there's a second one. Aye. I think the first one was kind of genuinely regarded as a success anyway. Like whether obviously people aren't going to, like, some people won't like it and all that, but I'm pretty sure it was like pretty successful, like in terms of like the money it made and that. So
I'm just reading the little blurb about Ted 2. It's a newlywed couple, Ted and Tammy Lynn, want to have a baby, but in order to qualify to be parents, Ted has to prove that he's a person in a court of law. That sounds awful.
but I mean, like, it is the kind of one that they would always go and make a second one, I suppose, and just milk it for everything that they can. But I don't recall ever seeing Ted 2. But just to summarise this word salad, I've just kind of spouted out. I enjoyed it. I could have just said that instead of just.
Just, I enjoyed it. That'll do, guys. Move on. Next person talk. Daniel, you've not said anything. You're coming
in. I've kept very quiet in my thoughts on this since watching it, and I'm glad you came to me last. This is dog shit of the highest order. This is one of the worst things. So, unlike you lot, I never watched this when it came out. This was a first time viewing for me, and holy fuck, is this bad? Like, none of this landed with me at all. And like, I like stupid humor. I don't mind if things are coherent. I don't care about the story. Like, just none of it was funny, and I didn't like any of the characters. I didn't like Ted. Were you supposed to dislike Mila Kunis for being nagging? But they're both absolute wankers, Ted and Mark Wahlberg. So, like, I don't like anyone. The only character I found enjoyable to watch was the same as the guy Sean mentioned, the guy who plays the fucking weird brother in Friends. That guy.
Giovanni Ribzipi.
He's also in My Name Is Earl, and he's in a few.
I loved My Name Is Earl.
Gone in 60 seconds.
Yep, Gone in 60 Seconds. He's a good. I like him. He's good.
He's also on an Amazon program about.
That's what I was just thinking.
He was in jail with somebody, and he's pretending to be somebody's nephew or grandson, and he goes to their farm, and like, I've not seen it. I've only seen a few episodes of it. I can't remember the name of it.
Well, we all seem to like him as an actor. I say we go back and watch some of his movies, because one of the ones I've just seen there on his list is Avatar.
Oh no. I hope we don't with A for this new thing, by the way. So, to summarise, this is shite. I'm going to explain multiple reasons why I hated this. See the things about the storyline. It just is. I don't care how stupid it was, but it just kept going on and on pointlessly. I just felt like loads of stuff was happening, but also fuck all was happening. And the humour, see a bear fucking fake hump in the air. If that's your thing, right, that you find funny, sound, right? But surely even if you find that funny, an hour later, it's no funny anymore, is it? Like, see the scene where it's going back and forth and it ends up with him putting the lotion over himself and going, that's too far. Like, Oh man, like it was bad. Like I was just sort of cringing at how bad it was. Like how did this? I was shocked that this got made. Never mind that a sequel was spawned of this fucking dog shit. Also, this is more of a personal thing, but no, it was Nora Jones was the singer who he interrupted for that stupid fucking moment. And that just fills me with dread because it reminds me of being like 15, 16, hungover after having a party at my house, and there was like bodies all over my bedroom, like folk just fucking hungover. And Nora Jones was always playing because somebody I used to stay over liked playing it to go to sleep. And it would just be repeating over and over and over again. Fucking fills my head with dread. So overall, this was not a pleasant experience. I tried to give it the whole benefit of the doubt. I got really high. I got relaxed. I chilled on the couch. Everything you want for a comedy, but it was still shit. And my last little bit of annoyance is that this beat Airplane. This got selected by our fucking idiot followers over Airplane, which I subsequently watched anyway, and it's amazing. And we would all have loved it, but this pile of shite one.
Well, Daniel, to cheer you up, go and give us a 30-second reason on why everyone should watch Airplane.
It's probably got about 150 one-liners in it, which are all fucking hilarious. That's all it is. It's a bunch of one-liners on a plane.
Is it? You've not really sold it to me, to be honest. The air humping teddy bear seems more appealing than one-liners on a plane.
So almost every single joke in the movie Airplane has been stolen since then. Like, it's groundbreakingly funny. Like, it's got more jokes per minute than any film you'll ever see. Like, it's just every single situation they can make funny, they make funny in a flight. That's what they do.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to download it and watch it next week when I'm on an airplane.
Aye, tell me what you honestly think. Aye, watch it on an airplane. That's a great way to watch it.
I've got a 4-hour flight, so I'm sure I can fit the movie in. A scathing review for Daniel coming at the end there.
That surprised me.
Like, for me, I get what it's trying to do, but it just, unless it's going to be shouting Bazinga every couple of words, I'm not really going to appreciate it, am I? Nah, need to take me up on that one.
Bazinga.
It's the same level of comedy. It's lowest common denominator comedy is what this is. It's like people falling over, people humping shit, people swearing, people talking about shagging. Like, that's all it is. It's lowest common denominator stuff that you maybe laugh at when you're in 77.
Sounds like the first 6 episodes I've just watched it Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's pretty much the same.
No, the opposite.
Yes.
Don't bite.
He's going to be converted soon, which I'm enjoying. So I think I've got faith in Kyle to be open-minded and go on the journey as he goes through it.
Yeah. Should be my new my new FIFA watch. Well, I suppose we should get to some scoring after Hunter draws some trivia in for us that I'm assuming he's forgot.
No, I've got it here, but unsurprisingly, there was very little trivia of note that I felt like recording on this. So what I found was Ted was usually played, in inverted commas, on set by a stem with eyeballs on it.
What?
So basically, imagine like a stick with 2 eyeballs, and that was who they would speak to when conversing with Ted. And then it was like green screened in after.
Big CGI Teddy.
Yes. So did you not think it was real?
I think you can buy them, you know.
So Mark Wahlberg had agreed to appear in a Seth MacFarlane movie after seeing a caricature of himself on Family Guy in 1999. This was Universal Pictures' highest grossing film of 2012, ahead of Battleship and Snow White and the Huntsman, which is not a film starring myself, just in case you ever didn't.
To be fair, 2 movies are absolutely shite, those other 2 films.
Basically the best of a bad bunch there.
Battleships, who remembers Did they make a movie out of the board game Battleships?
Yeah.
Was that no Rihanna that was in that?
Yes, I've seen this.
Fucking hell.
Well, maybe that'll fall into category B.
Yes, that's possible.
Boondock Saints and Battleships.
Right, so final bit of trivia, which Daniel, I'd imagine, is just going to anger me even more rather than appreciating this bit of trivia. So the scene where John recalls first meeting Laurie is a spoof of Airplane, and it marks a strange occurrence where one movie, this one, spoofs another one, which is movie and Airplane, which itself is a spoof, already spoofing another movie of Saturday Night Fever. So
A spoof, a spoof, a spoof.
Yeah, a spoof Inception.
yes.
But that just, I'm quite happy about that. That just further cements my point of how groundbreaking Airplane was. That there's a homage to it in this dog shit attempt at a comedy.
And just you've got our moronic followers to thank for choosing Ted over Airplane.
Yes.
Well, Hunter, one bit you missed out there. This was also an Oscar nominee.
What?
I generally did.
This
I've
was
obviously
nominated
just got
in the best
think I got-
achievement in music written for motion pictures with an original song. And it lost out to Skyfall by Adele.
I mean, that's a fucking tune.
Uh-huh.
There we go. There we go. Well, I think we should get to some scores on the doors for this end. I'm going to start from one end of the scale and head the way down. So I'm going to start off with Sean. I'm going to hope that Burns is taking note of these because I'm sitting in the dark and I've not got a pen. I have got a pen. I'm not writing them.
I am going to give this a 3.25.
3.25. So 3 times better than Mad Max. Hunter.
Yes.
In fact, no, let's come straight to Daniel.
A 0.5 for me, guys.
0.5. Hunter.
1.5 for me.
1.5 for Hunter. Give it a solid 1 from me.
What the fuck?
Burnsy.
I'm going to give it a 2.25.
2.25. Sean, it's very, very seldom are you high on the leaderboard. There's been the most scored points for a movie.
I think this is only the first time since Back to the Future 2 that this has happened.
Wow.
Yeah, at least I'll get a bit of leeway this week then by all the Mongos that are fucking following us on Instagram.
It'll probably be the opposite, Sean. It'll probably be me that. It'll probably be me and you that get all the abuse because everyone will say that the films are absolutely shit. So it's usually me and you that get the abuse anyway.
I don't know. Hey, this movie sucks, yo. Fucking idiots.
And Sean meant morons with his previous comment there, not the word that Sean used.
I was also going to say,
I meant Mongos.
You can tell that Sean's not looking at his phone because the hands up system is working perfectly well, except you can tell Sean's not giving a fucking no watching.
Oh no, sorry, I'm actually just watching the football. I actually forgot about that. Sorry.
Full professionals that we are, guys. Full professionals. Burnsy, what does that do to the overall scoring?
1.7.
1.7. So let's have a little stab, guys. What movies does that become in line with? Hunter, we'll come to you first.
You always come to me. I can never actually think and put on the spot.
If anyone's got a thought of a movie, they can jump in instead of having this dead air time.
Super bad.
Super bad.
Oh, shoot.
That is a good
That's what I
show.
was basing my score on, and I know I gave that a lower than this. I think I gave it a 1.75 or a 2 or something because I looked earlier to see what I gave it.
Okay. Anyone else?
That Back to the Future 2, now that Sean said it, now that we've probably had some similar scoring.
That was
that's a good show as well. Actually.
I'm going to bring one out in the archives with Bridge of Spies.
Bridge of Spies. Sean?
Oh no, that was down a lot more, wasn't it?
I'll kind of Face Off.
Face Off. You know what? These are actually all very, very close, but one of you has got an absolute bang on. Daniel with Bridge of Spies.
Oh.
Well, I'll take it back. I just gave you abuse there to say that.
So 133 on the list. We've got Bridge of Spies joint with Shutter Island. Now has Ted joining it. But he's went too far away. Super Bad and Back to the Future 2 just above it off a 1.95, and Face Off just below it with a 1.6. Boys know their stuff, know their leaderboard anyway, that's for sure. Well, let's get Ricketting away from Ted, and we'll see if The Hangover has any better consequences or results from the boys. But before we head on there, I'm just going to ask a question because I got asked this recently, and I had what I think is a hilarious story to tell of misfortune. But I want you guys to reveal an embarrassing moment from your childhood.
Oh.
Well, you think I'm going to give you mine because I relived this recently because a few weeks ago I went back to my old primary school to teach all the students Taekwondo there, and as I was walking up towards going into the actual gate, I seen the trees and all the shit at the side as I was walking, and I remembered climbing one of those said trees, and for whatever reason this day my mum sent me to school wearing a pair of green cord trousers. You've heard that right. Green cord trousers. So climbed this tree, got very far, obviously, to the top because I'm a fucking ninja. Slipped and got my trousers caught in a branch, which then ripped from the crotch all the way down to the bottom, exposing my bright red Y-fronts as I had to walk through the school back to the head teacher's office to phone my mum to come get me. Because I was pretty much standing there just in my wee pants in the middle of school. I was about P5 or 6 and got ridiculed for it for a very long time.
I did loads of stupid stuff, but I don't really get embarrassed. Do you know what I mean?
To be fair, that was definitely up there. And one of the most embarrassing moments for me. It goes alongside the time that I tried to kick a football and the sole of my shoe came off.
Right, so what you've done in your childhood happened to me in my early adulthood. I was at a nightclub in Dunfermline. No climbing up a tree, but
is this a way for Hunter to say that he exposed himself as an adult?
I didn't expose myself, but I did do a slit drop and my jean kind of busted the crotch. And then had to cut about my jacket tied in my waist for the rest of it because it was a bus back. I couldn't afford a taxi back for Dunfermline myself.
What are you doing attempting slut drops, Hunter?
I don't know. I'm not in the physical state to be attempting that anyway.
No, you'd never get back up if you did that now.
No.
To be fair, I don't think any of us would.
No.
No.
Oh. I've got two staff stories. I did so much stupid shit when I was young. Like, I was just a walking disaster for my mom. I don't know how they dealt with me. Like, I used to get sent to. I might get sent to the shop for the paper, and coming back with just the outside, like one sheet of the paper. My mom looked out the window, and if you looked up the street, was just every piece like scattered on like a trail behind. I just stopped it as I was going. I would just do stupid shit all the time. I went out. I would leave the house fully clothed and all my stuff, and come back like without a shoe. I lost a shoe in the burn fishing for minnows back in the day. I just did stupid shit all the fucking time. And I'd always get caught doing stuff. Like, I stole dust caps off the head teacher's car in primary school. Fucking, because I looked different as well. Mind when at school it was snow and everyone would just fucking get smashed with snowballs, and that was what happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
I gets called into the fucking headmistress, well, the director as she was, Mrs. Holmes, for anyone who knows. Burnsdale will know.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You were throwing snowballs yesterday." And I was like, "The whole school were throwing snowballs." And she was like, "Yes, but I can see you on the CCTV cameras." And I was the only cunt in the whole fucking school that got in trouble for it. Annoying.
To be fair though, Daniel, you did have a beard and long hair at the same time.
That's 100% the reason why
He
I got
seems
caught.
at least if no one else, they wouldn't get caught again.
Aye. I was a nightmare for fucking teachers at school. Like, I'm an absolute nightmare at the time. See, if I wasn't interested, I was an absolute dick. Neely Mackay was worse than me, though.
Exposed with a full name there, too.
I know.
Yeah.
Were you born with stubble, Daniel?
See, I went
always the hairiest man in the world.
I am genuinely, to paint a picture for those listening, I'm genuinely the hairiest man I've ever seen in real life. And I went
mean,
for pints after work on Friday, and then this subject came up. So I exposed my upper arms and shoulders to these people to horrified responses, like as if I'm like a circus freak. So I'm like a yeti. But I had a beard. I had a full beard by the time I was almost 13 at high school.
What the? That's fucking weird.
And you can ask.
I wouldn't have been too far behind you on the beard things. Yeah, at 13 at high school, I was tattooed and stubbled.
I had a tattoo. I was 15 too, like a fucking idiot. A big massive thing in my stomach. What am I doing? Like,
I had my first shave at 18.
I was going to say I thought I was bad, but I'm sure I shaved before I was 18. So
No, I never had any fucking hair anywhere until I was like a lot older than 13 anyway.
Oh no! So embarrassing stuff. I mind being the only kid in primary 6 swimming lessons with hairy legs, which was that was quite embarrassing. And then
you were like 24 at the time, doing the primary 6 swimming lessons.
I wouldn't say that'd be embarrassing. Everybody else would probably be like thinking there's something wrong with them because you're all hairy. I'm like on 10 years older.
I was too young for that. See, by the time you get to first and second year, that's definitely the case. But in primary 6, it's just weird. Like I look fucking freak, like so fucking weird. And then like I was the one that got sent for everyone's booze very young because I could get served booze, but then I couldn't get a half on the bus home for the pub, even though I was a half. I was under 16, but they would never let me on for the half. There you go. There's some boring stories about being a hairy young man.
Pros and cons, eh? You can buy drink, but you can't get a half on the bus.
I would say as well, the most painful thing in the whole world is getting your back waxed when you're as hairy as me. Like, I remember making a point.
I'll second that.
I had to go. I was going on holiday, and I thought, "Fuck it, I'll get it waxed," because you can't walk about looking like me, like a fucking freak. So I walk in, and you think as you phone up to make the appointment, and the person answering thinks like a normal human being is booking an appointment, right? So they think a normal person's coming in with a wee bit of hair at the bottom of his back and that. Do you know what I mean? Like some fluff here and there. And then I walk in and it's like, Mavis, cancel my 2 o'clock. Like, fucking, I'm been for ages. And it's the fucking worst thing. Like, the woman felt so sorry for me. Like, she'd never seen anything like me. And then I was in so much fucking pain. So I'd never listen.
Laurie says that as well.
Why is Laurie seeing Daniel naked?
No, there was a joke about her getting her back waxed, but doing like a lead balloon there.
I got it, sure, it was fine.
I remember, like every year, me, my cousin, and my gran and my granda would go to Sandylands in Saltcoats, the caravan park, which is basically just fucking Ned Central. And I remember, I must have been like 10 or 11 or something, but I remember like my gran would go in and play bingo, and obviously like we weren't allowed in the bingo room because so it's technically gambling, even though we could go around every fruit machine in the place, every puggy, and fucking play that. But like there was a pool table in the middle of this bit, so like to your right was like the big hall where the bar was, and to your left was the bingo room, and bang in the middle was this pool table. So me and my cousin used to play pool all the time, and I remember seeing this lassie, again I'm like 10 or 11, and I was like, I thought it was dead impressive, right, that I was like playing pool and all that, looking cool as anything. And there was a group of like boys who were like the same age as me, just at the back of this room, and I was bending over to take a pool shot, right, and like she was watching like our game, and I was trying to act all like great at pool and all that, and then one of the boys up the back took out a dart gun and shot me in the arse, and I started screaming. And then when I went back to the caravan, and like there was just a puncture in my arse cheek. My granda was absolutely he was fucking raging. He wanted to go out and like batter a child. I was in absolute tears. It's safe to say that that lassie never looked at me the same after that.
Well, just think, sure, if she did, then you wouldn't be all worried though. So it's
that's true.
Worked it in the long run.
That'd maybe some scheme that, but my confidence was absolutely shot after that.
Hope she's not listening.
That's just one thing that springs to mind. Also on like in the same place, I don't know if this was the same year that we went, but I remember this lassie came up to me and goes, "Will you nip my pal?" And I had no idea what nipping somebody meant. Apparently it means kiss. And I just basically like absolutely shot myself and just walked away thinking it was like some kind of like actual physical, like you're physically going to nip somebody.
Wow.
He was 18 then as well when that one happened.
Yeah, I was 23. Yeah.
It's funny how like our childhood holidays are like caravan parks and stuff. I love that shit. I only ever got to go away once as a child, and it was so that my dad could bring back a suitcase full of fags from Spain, and we went there on a bus. It was a fucking.
Oh man!
Do you know how long it takes to get to Spain on a bus?
Oh,
2 fucking days. 2 days. Torture as a child.
Be pricey too when you kind of go on for a half.
I think when I went on holidays, I used to go on holiday all the time. My grandpapa didn't eat at the caravan, but it was the most exciting thing in my life. Like I was standing outside with my wee suitcase and everything, and then whenever they'd go down and cut the grass, I'd have like my wee fake lawnmower going and cutting the grass with my papa and stuff like that, as if it was actually achieving anything. I can't think of any really embarrassing stories when I was young though, so I do want to embarrass myself and make one up or say one that I don't even think is funny. So
I think we've all probably got plenty of you when you're drunk. We can share.
I know that's the thing. We'll leave them for a different episode.
Oh well, we'll move on and we'll talk about other drunk people and a fucking amazing segue in with The Hangover.
Well done.
No bad, Burnsy. Had you seen The Hangover, Burnsy, before this time?
No, I hadn't. No.
Shocked. I'm absolutely shook. Well, take us away with your thoughts because you're the most articulate out of all of us when it comes to talking about movies.
Right, thanks. So I I thought this started off quite slow with the build-up. Piecing stuff together, it just seemed really slow. I thought I can't really put my finger on what I didn't like about it. It just didn't really feel as if I was learning anything. Like, was there any real need to know that Bradley Cooper's character was a teacher? I didn't think that had any relevance to the film as it progressed at all. Like that was just pointless. When you get into when I got into it though, I think similar to Ted, like I was thinking I was going to be hoping I was going to be laughing uncontrollably, and again like this, it was more sort of sniggers, wee laughs. It wasn't anything that blew me away. Obviously, when they wake up the following day and they see the Bengal tiger in the bathroom, that was quite funny. I just imagine me just being in the bathroom.
Burnsy just lying in the middle of the flare.
Aye, because that's one of the nicknames that I get called for people who obviously that are listening. I don't know why that even started, but there you go.
I know why it started.
Oh, enlighten us, please.
You sounded like a Bengal tiger when you snored on your trip to London for the boxing with Neely.
Oh, was that where it was from? I knew it was something to do with snoring, obviously, but I didn't know why
This
or
is,
where it started, etc.
This is why it's good to have someone autistic in the group.
And also, like when the baby just turns up, that was quite funny because you weren't obviously expecting that to happen but then I thought after those two parts is I could see where the storyline was going in terms of the funny parts of where it was going to lead to. So then it didn't really hit me with the laughter as much as it might have been for other people who maybe weren't anticipating it as much. So it fell a bit flat in those instances, but it was enjoyable and whatever. And I think similar to Ted again, it's like one of these films where if it was like a film that I watched like 3 years ago or whatever, I would say, oh, this was really good, you need to go back and watch it or recommend it to people. But there'd be a lot other films that I would recommend over this compared to other ones. I thought Bradley Cooper was class in it, though. I did think he was very good. Where obviously in the previous one, I said that Matt Wahlberg was shit. And obviously, the only bit that seemed a bit random, obviously to me, was Mike Tyson just appearing out of nowhere. When I didn't think he was, you might think differently. I didn't think he was that bad in the film. Like it wasn't as if he acted terribly. I didn't think. I thought he was half decent.
What a difference in the condition of Mike Tyson from that filming that to what he's like now, eh? Or like his most recent boxing stuff that he was doing. He looks fucking massive in The Hangover.
Yeah, that'll be the coke boat.
What you know what like really blows my mind? And I said this to Laurie. Like he is like idolised in America. He's a convicted rapist.
Yeah,
And
He's proper like put on this pedestal and all that. He's an absolute cunt.
And on that point, like I used that exact point to argue with a guy. So there was a guy I was arguing with recently. You know me? Oh, me shockingly arguing with a guy. Anyway, and they were talking about cancel culture, and everyone gets cancelled and that. I was like, do they? Fuck. Like, look at Mike Tyson. And that was my example, Sean. So
I just find it really bizarre. And I know about like people can change and rehabilitation and all that, but like I just can't, I've never understood the Tyson thing. I've always just I've never ever liked him. And plus, he bit a guy's ear off. Like,
Yeah.
there's just a massive list. He like just ridiculous, fucking illegal shit he's done, horrible stuff he's done. Yet, it's Mike Tyson.
I think
don't
like
get it.
that's what I agree with Sean. Is like when I think of Mike Tyson, I think of the ear biting. I don't think of the convicted rapist bit, which you obviously would think of because it seemed to get glossed over quite a lot.
And as obviously that was before the ear biting thing and all that. So I suppose like
Oh yeah,
maybe
but
just
in
kinda-
terms, you'd think that would still be the main thing that would be because
and
obviously comes back
amazingly,
for that boxing fight, like Kel was saying, and I don't remember it being. I didn't watch the fight or anything, but I don't remember it being mentioned once. And then I think the final thing for me is like when I say about things that were obvious it was going to happen is like when they're trying to find the groom, and then they go and find him with these people that had obviously kidnapped him. Like you could see it coming a mile if it was going to be it was going to be him. Like it was so obvious. Like imagine it was one of us being kidnapped, right? And then you think, all right, we've got him. Not for 1 second you think, well, we should check what his face looks like before we hand over 80 grand. No, could be empty, but we'll just go and hand over 80 grand. That was just stupid. But I know I'm picking potholes and maybe it's meant to be something that is just meant to be based on, it's maybe just meant to be a sort of simple watch, which it was. And I did enjoy it to an extent, but it's still not going to be, I would be surprised if anyone comes in and says that it's class, put it that way, because there's a lot that could be done better. But it's something it's fun, it's enjoyable. You can maybe see it coming and you get some laughs for it. But again, not anything that you're like uncontrollable after because you can see quite a bit of it coming anyway.
I was just going to come in and say that you're about to be surprised then, because I think this is class. But
and I was also going to come in and say, talk about one of us getting kidnapped. Going by the condition that we were in that Sunday morning, that caravan, there's absolutely no way any of us is getting out of bed to go looking for the other one if any of us gets kidnapped.
That's a good point, actually. It gives a false idea of how bad hangovers can be. They're all bouncing about, doing it. The boys lost a tooth, and he's still ready to go. Imagine if you lost a tooth, you wouldn't be like, I'm going to look for him. You'd be lying. You'd probably prefer to be in the bathroom with a tiger instead of going to look for your pal.
Schedule your rescue on Tuesday afternoon to start feeling normal again.
There is just to sidebar a little bit from this. There is a difference to what drinking culture in UK is like versus America. I've been watching Cobra Kai on Netflix. Great wee series. But when you see them in their parties with their red cups and their DJs and they're having a couple of white claws together and they're absolutely miraculous after it and they're all dying, I'm like, it's just such a different experience to what you see here in the UK. So I don't imagine with the amount that they have sunk in alcohol that night would have been the pre-drinks before they were headed out.
That makes me think of being like 15 and having a bet with my mate on how many shots you would get out of a full bottle of Aftershock. And obviously to test that, we just had to buy a bottle of Aftershock and sit and smash shots out it. And see, you think back at 15, that's a stupid and dangerous thing to do. Don't do that, kids.
I remember we used to buy the K cider back when it was like 9% a can. That it was like, how many cans of this like ridiculously strong cider can you drink before you pass out on a Tuesday night down the park?
Still about 8%, I'm sure. I guess when I
Aye.
went to leave it, it's
I
no.
don't think you can get it here now because they got rid of like all the Jakey ciders and that, so you can't even get
And
a
I've
bottle of
seen it
Amiga
in one of
anymore.
the. I've seen it in one of the shops just round the road for me. I should maybe go and get one and sink it for the rest of the stream.
But I was also going to add that I seen this the other day in Bowness. It was I was driving in absolute pissing rain, and somebody was walking down the street with a three packet, a 4-pack of the K cider, free in one hand and drinking one of them in the pissing rain.
Make
I live in a
Scotland
nice area,
great,
guys.
great again. Bring back Omega cider. That's what I say.
I've never heard of that. What's
We
that?
have,
Where's that?
Omega was terrible.
It was like pound
That
a
was
bottle.
about £1 for 3 litres.
Aye, you used to have to top it up with blackcurrant to make it drinkable.
That
Then
taste.
Spinnies
Like,
with it.
I remember Omega tasting like what sick smells like.
Oh God, I hate cider for that reason. It just reminds me of spew, like the aftertaste of it. I hate it.
I've lost train of thought of who was talking who here.
I've no idea. I'm just going to
I
jump
just
in.
finished, so you can MD
Aye.
can go on after me.
I love this. I remember going to the pictures to see it, and I just remember just howling constantly through it. And I think that this changed comedy in films quite a bit. I think Zach, I can never say his name. What's his second name?
Galifianakis.
Galifianakis. He's absolutely amazing in this. Like, it's just, I think the way that they are together, like the three of them, they just work really, really well together. Like, Doug's the boring one, and he's obviously the one that goes missing. But the way that these three work together is just absolutely brilliant. I don't know. I just really like it, and I've seen it so many times, and even just watching it is such an easy watch. Like, even if it doesn't really necessarily make me laugh as much as it did when I first seen it, like there is still bits that I'll laugh at. Like, see when he bangs the baby's head off the car, I just laugh at that every time. I know it's coming. It's just such a simple, stupid thing, but I just find it funny. Again, like Ted, it's over the top, it's stupid and pretty unrealistic, obviously, but like pretty much everybody can relate to, maybe not to the extent of what happens in the film, but everybody can relate to being hungover and trying to remember what you've done the night before, even if it is just the once that's happened in your life where you got that drunk and you literally cannot remember anything. So like, it is quite relatable in that sense, not to the extent where you're stealing tigers for Mike Tyson and all this kind of stuff. But no, like, I think this will be this is a film that I've seen so many times. Like, it's so much better than the second and the third one. Again, they're just quite rightly so as well, just absolutely milking it for all it's worth. I actually think the second one was all right. I think the third one was utter dog shit, but the first one for me is definitely up there in terms of more recent comedies. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
I was just going to ask us, so I've obviously not watched second or third one, so is it the same cast, or is it a completely different cast, or how does that
Technically,
work?
you have watched the second one because the second one's just this but remade in like Singapore, whatever it is. So you have watched the second one.
Bangkok.
So it's the same people?
It's the same people, aye.
Right.
It's just a different situation that they're in.
Right.
Same situation, same plot, same everything.
Just different country.
I'm just trying to look to see what the third one was, because I can't remember that at all.
Is it no Alan's in the mental hospital or something like that?
Aye.
And then they get blackmailed or something like that. I don't think there's an actual hangover as a sense of the third one, where I think it's a
says here
totally
that
different.
One of their own is kidnapped by an angry gangster. The Wolfpack must track down Mr. Chow, who has escaped from prison and is on the run.
Yeah.
I find Mr. Chow really irritating. He's the only one that I just find annoying. I just don't. But like, again, it's not really enough to make me like absolutely hate it. But so this is one that I've always enjoyed, and I could watch it any time really.
I'd just quite like to follow on from Sean, because it doesn't happen often that I fully agree with Sean and his assessment of this. I think almost everything you said, I would agree with. I think that this has got the perfect amount of Zach Galifianakis. It doesn't overdo it. I think the next, same with Mr. Chow, right? I think in this film, see when he first jumps out and gets his tiny little dick in his face, like right in his face, and like does all the fucking mad shit. So fucking funny. But then by the third one, I'm sick to fucking death of him. Does anyone watch Community?
No, but I do. Obviously, there's like the one sort of clip that's obviously been cut up and overused over the top one with the. But I know obviously who he is in that show.
Aye, he basically plays the same character. I'm just going to keep talking now because I'm talking. So, I think Sean actually said something that I was going to say, and this is why it would have also been good to have had this and Airplane as the two movies, is because I think this is probably the last defining comedy. Like, I don't think there's been another big blockbuster comedy since this, and it's been copied to death. Like, we watched Bridesmaids, right? That's just The Hangover in a different situation. Like, there's tons of them that just gets copied and copied and copied. This film, to the extent that it copied itself with the second one, and it's just like the exact same movie. But I don't want any of that to take away from it. And I'm a bit like Sean. Like, I went to see it at the cinema. I'm trying to think back to that time, and I just thought this was excellent. To the point that I dressed up as Alan for The Hangover that year for my office Halloween party, and I won 50 quid in vouchers for the best dressed. As you can tell, for you guys looking at me, obviously people listening, it's not a big stretch for me to look like him. So make of that what you will.
The same suspicious background between you, the same beard, the same hair.
It's basically just you in the morning.
It's just me and I did have to stuff my belly with a pillow, but apart from that, there was very little effort put into looking like him. So
must have been a few years back that you stuffed that pillow.
Say that again?
Must have been a few years ago if you had to stuff a pillow.
Oh, I am in the best shape out of anyone in this group by a lot.
That's no achievement. Trust me, it's not an achievement.
But to sum it up, I think this is good. Some of the moments that I think go underappreciated are the band at the end, the wedding band. They're also in an underrated film, which is Old School.
Oh, just steal a bit of my fucking trivia, why don't you?
Sorry. In my dream, you can actually hire this band, and in my dream scenario, if I was to ever be rich and get married, I would want them to be my wedding band. But I think they're super funny. When you go, Sean.
I just wanted, when you said about the band, the soundtrack for this film is absolutely tremendous. So you just like the bit where like it's playing when they have the drink on the roof, and then it fast forward, and it's got that kind of drum kind of. It's just I just love the soundtrack for this. I just wanted to say that. I forgot to say that when I was doing my spiel.
Funnily enough, I was going to mention that scene as well with that song, which is Usher. Is it the name of the song by Usher?
No, it's not that one. There's
that
another. I'm not about to like fucking sing it or that. I'm not embarrass myself. But when it basically transitions between the night time and then them lying on the hotel room floor, I'll need to find out what the name of it is.
See if I can think of what it is.
Aye, but it just fits really, really well. Unless I've got mixed up with the songs, but this song's definitely in it. And like even when they're driving to Vegas, and then like after like where like Alan tells him he's fine to change lane and all that, and it just plays the song as they're driving in, and you see all the lights and all that. Like it's just everything's just really, really well done.
Aye, I definitely agree. It's a well put together film. Everything works with it. Some of my favourite bits I think go unnoticed. Like, see when they check in and Alan asks, "Is this the real Caesar's Palace?" Like, does me every time. Like, see, it's the little things in this film that I like asking if he gets a fucking beeper reception. That's like in the same bit. Do you get a reception for beepers here? Like, what the fuck? The guy's just so weird, man.
I'm just reading some quotes from it, and I'm sitting here chuckling away at myself because the one where Stu says, "She's got my grandmother's Holocaust ring," and Alan replies, I didn't know they gave out rings at the Holocaust.
See, if you like that sort of shit, you'll love Airplane. That's what I mean. There's tons of that sort of shit in it. But that's my favourite thing about this film, are all the little bits, that not the over the top bits with Mike Tyson punching somebody in the face or whatever. It's all those little bits in between that do it for me. But it's an iconic film. It's spawned a million fucking gifs and memes. I've got a feeling that Burnsy's going to be the one to be the odd one out here as we go to Hunter.
You will be correct. I need to jump in on the Sean and Daniel bandwagon. I enjoy this film. I mean, I've got to be pretty much having stolen everything that I would say that's so good about this. But I remember going to see this at the cinema, and I think what you need to give the credit to now, I don't remember there being much hype around this. It was definitely one of those, oh, have you seen this? You need to go see it. It's so funny. And I think I remember going to see it. It must have been a good few weeks, and the cinema was still packed. It was just going on. I keep remembering it must have been on for so long. And then you even consider, I think, the low budget it was compared to what it actually had turned around and made just shows you the sort of impact that it's had. And again, there's so many iconic moments from it. I mean, I was kind of properly, I wouldn't call myself a hangover mark, but I definitely did have a paging Dr. Faggot message tone on my phone for a few weeks after it came out. But again, as I said, even I think now over time it maybe still doesn't hit you that way. I do remember being absolutely doubled over laughing in the cinema when it first after going to see it. And you maybe not got that then, but I think you could still have a good laugh and a chuckle with it. And I mean, as you say, Daniel, and it probably is a good fair point. There's never been a comedy film since it's got anywhere close, and we've got to take a lot of factors in the comedy level, like sort of impact of what it's had. And you're talking about obviously even the low budget to what it turned around. I mean, even like I think was Bradley Cooper's career no fucking doing the Swanee essentially until this came out, and it's basically saved his career too. So, I mean, it's just what may have they actually want from it. It's made on such. I don't know what it is. It's just so hard to. I just maybe say that, but about Mr. Chow. But again, he's only annoying because of what he's been and done since, and he's everywhere. He's what the Masked Singer. Really, he's fucking everywhere. It seems like now, but in the film, as you said the impact that everything has the first time round is, for me, I remember back then, everything was hilarious, and even maybe the second, third time watching it. But then I think the second and third films maybe do tarnish it slightly, but then you've also then got to they're different separate films. You've got to try and take them out, not use them too hard when assessing this. But I mean, for me, it's probably for an impact for a new comedy. I don't think anything has come close since, and I'm still waiting with bated breath for the next thing to come and have me doubled up in a cinema laughing.
I think we'll be waiting a while for that. Doesn't seem to be anything at all.
Plus, you've also got the fact I'm turning into a miserable old bastard at the same time too. So, this is not a linear scale, so I've got to give it some point.
Turning into.
Aye, well, I'm like fully morphed into fucking miserable old bastard now.
Fair play. Well, let's get some trivia if you've got any left from Daniel stealing it.
I do, yes. So obviously that Daniel had taken on was that the band that's at the end are also in the film Old School, and I just was trying to find that song that Sean had mentioned. As you said, you can actually hire them to play. They can actually hire them to play your actual wedding, which I actually thought was quite cool. So, and as I did touch on earlier on, we were talking about the shape that Mike Tyson was in for this film. He revealed that he only appeared in the film to fund his drug habit, and that he was high on cocaine when filming the suits.
Fuck's sake, man! What a hero,
Later, I know, American hero indeed. He also said that working on the film convinced him to change his lifestyle, but was happy to take the paycheck to get back on that cocaine as soon as he got it. Apparently, plans for a sequel, which became The Hangover Part 2 in 2011, had already been made before this film was even in theatres. I'd imagine the plans being reduced a script, let's just put it in a different country. So some of the people who turned down the role of Alan were Jack Black, Jonah Hill, and Jake Gyllenhaal, which would have been
What?
Yep.
Oh,
And after they turned it down, that's when the role was rewritten, and obviously Zach Galifianakis then got the role. And finally, the last one I've got here is Paul Rudd turned down the role of Phil.
this is one of those movies where the the other guy that goes missing, he can be anybody.
Yeah.
He could be Paul Rudd. That would maybe make him more interesting. He's the most forgettable cunt who must only live off this film. I don't know if he's in anything else. But that main three, like Sean said, like there's just something about the three of them. Any other combination would not have worked at all, I don't think.
I think I had read somewhere that they actually had a friendship before filming this, so I think that's probably why they do work so well together on it. But like I just said, like when you see some of the names that was mentioned for some of the roles, it's like it's not the same film, and it wouldn't have been anywhere near successful. Obviously, you can tell that camaraderie between the three does show on screen.
Well, I'm just looking to see what else that guy is in that we may know him from. But a movie that was, I'm calling him that guy because I didn't know his name until I just loaded it up there. Justin Bartha is most known for National Treasure.
Oh, is he the wee assistant guy?
The wee guy with the glex.
He's quite good at that, actually. Shite film, though.
Well, and I just also googled there in the background how much it would cost you, Daniel, for when you get married to hire the Dan band. It's anywhere between $40,000 and $75,000.
Fucking hell.
Just on that, before we move on from them, have you seen Old School?
Yes.
Yep.
The song
as a man I aspire to be.
Aye. The song they sing in Old School is much funnier than this one. Like it's so much more subtle. I'll send it in the chat after this. It's fucking funny.
Fair play. Well, let's get ahead into the scores, and then we'll also start off with the projected low score and we'll into the high score. So, Burnsy, you can set us off first, please.
Aye, so it's definitely better for Ted. I think you would be a bit surprised with what I'm saying. So, gave Ted a 2.25, so this is a 2.75.
2.75. Let's fire to Sean this time.
I'm going to give it a 4.5.
A 4.5, Hunter?
4 for me.
4 for Hunter is how I was going to score it myself, so that'd be a 4 from me as well, Burnsy. Daniel, to finish us off.
I'm right in the middle. I'm a 4.25.
4.25. Now, Burnsy, I'll try and stall a little bit longer for you to do the maths because they're the high numbers from countdown that you may struggle with.
I know. I need to need to count a lot of fingers for that. That's 3.9.
3.9, guys. There is one movie ties directly with this. What would it be?
Kill Bill?
The Fighter.
No.
Back to the Future 1.
There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood. God, no, that should be miles down. This actually comes in line with my thoughts that Daniel's got the list up in front of him because it is The Fighter.
Oh.
That's funny. Now, I don't have the list in front of me, but I was drunkenly showing it to a guy from my work. So maybe it's like stayed in my head somewhere, but I promise I'm not looking at it.
So it's joint 30th with a 3.90. Kill Bill Burns is a 3.85, so it's very close.
Oh, good show.
Thanks. I'm looking forward to the hate I'm going to get.
Well, that one thing that make you feel good before you get shat on all over in the comments. Well, that does.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said there, Kel. I thought there was some more to that comment.
Just ignore me. That's fine. It's not that it's a podcast and I need a bit of interaction to come forward before I move us towards the end. But
it's like he nodded his head. It's fine.
He's like, yeah. Well, we are going to, however, spin the wheel before we finish up. But we are finished with the movies for this week. I can't remember what the scores were off the top of my head, but that is Ted and The Hangover. Ted absolutely shat on The Hangover, getting some great praise.
Why are you spinning the wheel?
What's going on here?
I know we've got a 2.0 to launch.
We're not spinning the wheel.
No.
No, unless you want to put letters on it.
Just spin it for a laugh.
Aye.
Here's what it could have been.
We could put bets on what we think.
It was a good one we made, didn't it?
You can tell who didn't listen when I was talking for 10 minutes before we started, eh?
No, we're not doing that, so it's alright.
Series, what the fuck is that?
We're
watching
watching a TV series.
No, that's fine. Just get that to me.
We're back in 2 months by the time we've all watched Sopranos.
To give some context of why I wasn't listening, when you were talking pre-recording, I had to go downstairs to deal with my puppy because she was barking. And when I went downstairs to see why she was barking at the TV because Netflix had asked her if she was still there to be watching. So I had to put the TV back on for her, and she stopped barking since then.
What is she actually watching on Netflix?
I told you before that it was a waste of electricity having the TV on. So if you didn't do it in the first place, you wouldn't have had that problem.
You also told me it was a waste having the dog.
I didn't say that.
Know, how was your puppy enjoying the Jeffrey Dahmer documentary?
She was watching Boss Baby actually, so she's a big Boss Baby.
Wait, you put kids' TV on for it?
To be fair, it was what Poppy was watching before she went to bed, so I just left it on. But if I was to have choices, I would have put Paw Patrol on for her, obviously.
Obviously.
Well, guys, we are coming to an end of tonight's recording. I have absolutely no idea what's going to be happening in the future, but Daniel will keep you up to date on Instagram. So if you are listening and you want to know what's going to be happening in the upcoming weeks, go onto our Instagram account where when Daniel can get his finger out, he will keep it up to date and let you know. Guys, that is us. Thank you very much. Oh, fuck, I forgot what I even say. As Morons bid you farewell.
Adios.
Bye, driver.
I'm going to go what bye driver as a German for next time.
Bye, driver.
Sorry you don't speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun! You fucking moron!
Stuff like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron! Hey, moron!
Bid you farewell and good luck, morons. Bye.